In this lesson, you'll learn about alternative resources that can be used to customize your app for various languages, countries, devices, and more. First, let's take a look at how to specify alternative resources for specific groups of devices. To provide an alternative resource, you append a qualifier to the basic default folder name using a dash. For example, in our first app, we used -HDPI appended to drawables to designate images for high-density screens. There's a table in the developer's website providing resources page that's shown here, detailing qualifying name options. As you'll see as we go through the options, there seems to be a bewildering and large set of choices to make. Which options are used for an app will be highly dependent on the nature of the app and the markets it serves. Keep in mind that alternative resources can be added over time. So you could start with a basic, fairly universal setup with just default resources, and then add qualifying resources as you customize for different markets. And they can be added without changing your Java code. So don't be intimidated, just take in the information and factor it into your app development at the right time. And you can find additional useful information about using alternative resources on this page on the developer's website. So here are the options. We have MCC and MNC, which are mobile country codes and mobile network codes that let you customize for country differences. Language and region lets you provide translations for different languages and regions. Layout direction lets your app adjust a layout depending on left to right languages such as English versus right to left languages such as Arabic. Smallest width allows adjustment based on the smallest width of displays on a device. Available width specifies a minimum available screen width at which the resource should be used. Available height specifies a minimum available screen height at which the resource should be used. Screen size specifies resources for small, normal, large, and extra large screen sizes. Screen aspect specifies long and not long ratio options. Screen orientation specifies portrait and landscape orientation options. UI mode specifies options for different types of devices such as car, desk, television. Night mode specifies night and not night options. Screen pixel density specifies options for different screen densities such as low, medium, and high. Touchscreen type specifies no touch and finger use modes. Keyboard availability specifies keyboard type options such as exposed, hidden, and soft. Primary text input method specifies options no keys, QWERTY, and 12 key. Navigation key availability specifies exposed and hidden options. Primary non-touch navigation specifies options such as trackball and wheel. And finally, platform version specifies options such as the different version numbers, version 3, 4, 7, etc. And now let's look at some examples. For some examples of alternative resources, you can scan through the API Demos resource folder, and the app contains default animation folders, a default drawable folder, and alternative drawable folders for different screen densities, a default layout folder and alternative layout folders for different screen dimensions, a default menu and raw folders, a default values folder and alternative values folders for different screen densities, dimensions, and release numbers, and a default XML folder. Now that's our lesson on providing alternative resources. Now let's take a look at how resources are accessed.